Hey everyone, and welcome to Astrology and Alchemy. Probably wait a little bit here because there's probably a commercial running. Gotta love those commercials. I'm back, and it's just me tonight, no Sarah. So I gotta see. I don't want to. I guess I need to read my mail. Anyway, I am back after about 10 weeks of not being able to be in the office here with my surgery. So here I am. This also means that Sunday Night Dead will be coming back this Sunday. Won't disclose what the topic is yet, but we'll wait and see. There is nobody on with us yet, so we'll give this a little bit of time and see if anyone decides to join us tonight. Rebel's here. All right. Didn't know if there was an ad or something, so I wanted to wait and make sure there's enough time for folks to join. Before we get into what's going on tonight, we'll see how many people join us. Tonight we got Brandy, we got Rebel. Give a little bit of time here for folks. I already got a like, so thank you for the thumbs up there. Yes, you are stuck with me tonight. And so, since I don't like to do I don't look ahead of time at the weekly astrology. You're not going to get the weekly aspects tonight. Sorry. But Sarah is out, so it's going to be me and my version of things. And so what I want to do tonight is, and first of all, again, I see some other people adding, yes, Sunday Night Dead's coming back out too. As you can see, I'm back in my office because I can walk once again after about 10 weeks of not being able to walk. So it's nice. Tonight, what I want to do, but it'll be very dependent on audience participation. So I want to hear what your guys' thoughts on things. We did this a little bit. I think the last night I was on, we did a special episode in the evening after the show to do this. We're going to talk about musicians and bands that best represent the different signs. And so Sarah and I we're supposed to do a show of top 10s for each of the signs. And I had my list, and it took so long to get it going that I actually lost my list. So some of these I'm going to have to do by memory. But we only have an hour here and 12 signs. So roughly that is 5 minutes per sign. So I am curious to see what folks will think as we kick on our first one, and that is Aries. So I always associate Aries with aggressive, impulsive. So I'm curious for you guys, and also the youngest son or the youngest sign in the. I'm taking my boot off here so I can sit here. So if you're hearing weird noises, that's what's going on. Impulsive. The youngest sign of the zodiac, so I always think kind of teenage boy kind of energy, not thinking about more than a week what's going on. So I will go for nominations as to what band you think best represents Aries. I think we're going to do 3 at a time here just to get some folks, and that'll give us a little more time for discussion. Taurus, stable and indulgent. So who do you think, what bands would most represent Taurus energy? And then Gemini, that kind of path, or the crossroads, path in the woods, which way do I go? Very externally or extroverted and very communicative, but kind of vacillating back and forth between things. So I will see what anyone thinks on here before I will go ahead and start elaborating. So I'll say, when I think of Aries energy and music, I think of, hate to say it, but I think of things that I would consider angry and kind of destructive, and so kind of rebellious. Not rebellious in the way Aquarius is. This is no insult to Aries, but I think Aquarius is a different level because it's an air sign. It's more a thought rebellion, whereas Aries is action oriented. So it's just kind of like pick up a hammer and start smashing stuff. So see, Carson is nominating Runaways. I could see that. I always think of Rage Against the Machine as a Aries band. Boy, what would be some other ones in the Aries energy? I think in the past, though, I could change my vote on this because they're not necessarily angry. So, no, I'm going to change that one. So I'm going to stick with Rage still as the big one on that. I'm trying to think of other ones that would have that high level of aggression. I'm going to move around a little bit. When I go to Taurus, I think of that indulgence, and also that whole kind of just, kind of chill and sit on the couch and indulge type thing. So I automatically go to jam bands with Taurus. So I think of bands like the Grateful Dead on that one with the stable, indulgent piece. Let's see. All right, Field Guy just wants to say Pink Floyd, Rush, and Def Leppard, top 3 bands out there. Prove him wrong. All right, Field Guy, well, give me your signs for the 3. I don't dislike any of them. Although if I had to rank them, I would go Rush, Pink Floyd, and then Def Leppard would be farther away from the 3. I'm not necessarily, even though I grew up in the 80s, not necessarily an 80s metal guy. I was kind of a prog guy that then turned to new wave punk. So, so let's see here. Oh, Phil Guy says I hate Pisces. I don't hate Pisces. I know I was watching another guy, another channel that I follow here, and everyone wishes him a happy birthday every week, even though it's not his birthday. And I feel that's how you guys are with saying that I hate on Pisces. Or hate on any water sign, really. I like all the water signs. Rebel doesn't like Rush at all. I like old Rush. I know that's kind of divisive, kind of the old versus the new Rush. But okay, let me think about this. What sign would I attribute to those different ones? See, Pink Floyd's indulgent, but I wouldn't call it stable. I don't view that as Taurus energy. I would actually give Pink Floyd. Again, these are off the top of my head. I haven't really thought this out. So I could change. I give myself the permission to change my mind the more I chew on this. But I'm going to go Pink Floyd Pisces. I'm going to say Rush. Rush is Taurus energy, in my opinion. Pretty indulgent. Def Leppard. Where would I put Def Leppard? I feel Def Leppard's kind of air signish. I'm gonna go. I feel like I'm gonna get shit for this, and I could change this, but I'm gonna go Def Leppard. I'm gonna say Gemini. Def Leppard. They're an air sign, but they're not like the glam bands and the glam stuff is what I consider a Libra. So yeah, I'll go high level and we'll go through this. So, Cancer, I feel kind of sappy, emotional. Leo, oh no, Def Leppard's not Leo. Some of the hair bands would fall under Leo though. Leo's obviously kind of that rock star, attention-seeking energy. Virgo, I'm going to already change my mind. Rush is a Virgo band. That kind of very perfectionist, kind of I's dotted, T's crossed. Libra is, I would say, glam or popish. I think there's also like a pop energy to Gemini. Hang on. Oh, I got to give my wife keys so she can go pick up my son. I'll be right back. All right. Anyway, Scorpio, dark. I'd say almost gothish. Sagittarius, party band. Capricorn. Ooh. I'm going to keep vacillating on Rush now between the different earth signs. Aquarius kind of rebel. Aquarius, I think David Bowie is my poster child for Aquarius. Thank you, Carson. I did walk pretty good for not having my boot on. I've been walking for about getting close to 2 weeks, so like a week and a half, I guess. So yeah, it's doing okay. All right. I know we're kind of in chat on a side view of the merits of Rush. All right. Just going through this again. All right. Yeah, nobody's got any good. Okay, so still throwing out here. Anybody got any good ideas for an Aries band? Or if you want to throw bands out there, I'll give you my best estimation as to what sign they most represent. So, saying about, and my one disclaimer is the newer the stuff, the greater the chance that I don't really know them very well, and we'll probably throw them into one of the more superficial signs. All right, let me think more about this. Trying to think of good representations as they go through them all. I'm going to skip Gemini. A good Cancer band. It's easier for me to think of the bands and then work backwards. That might be better. Like I said, David Bowie, Aquarius. The more I think about it, Pink Floyd, I would give give Pink Floyd Pisces. Rush, I'm still kind of stuck on here a little bit as to where I want to go, but I'm going to put Rush in Virgo. Def Leppard. Kind of torn on them too, but I'm going to throw them in Gemini. So, come on, guys, in the chat, give me some more. Give me some more bands. Also noticing the allergies are really getting to me. My eyes look really bad from it. We're in the massive amount of pollen season here in North Carolina, and I'm feeling it. 9 Inch Nails, that's a good one. 9 Inch Nails, that's I would go pretty easy on that. I would say 9 Inch Nails is Scorpio. And then folks can feel free to agree or disagree with me. But that one hit me pretty quick, Scorpio. So I'd go Scorpio with 9 Inch Nails. Thinking of some other bands and bands that have been in the news or anything lately, or old popular bands. I don't know why, but I was kind of thinking of where I'd place Metallica. Beastie Boys. Beastie Boys. There's a couple of definitely an air fire mix in there. I almost feel like that's interesting. So I'm going to say the two signs that hit me with Beastie Boys, they were very, very innovative with a lot of the things they did, which gives a kind of an Aquarius energy to it. But then there's also kind of a, just with their kind of attitude and everything, a Sag energy as well. But there was kind of a tongue-in-cheek piece to them. That's tough. I get a mix of Sag and Aquarius vibes on them. I'm going to go with Sag for Beastie Boys. Rebel says her bands are either too old, too new, or not common enough. Well, throw one out, Rebel. We'll see. I am a music person, but where this gets different is I think if Sarah was here, our kind of Venn diagram on music interests and music things, it doesn't cross a whole lot. So between the two of us, we would probably know. Violent Femmes. Love Violent Femmes. Man, I had them in one of my top 10 lists, and I can't remember where I had them now. I give stuff falling over here. You can tell I haven't been in this office in like 3 months. Violent Femmes, I see a air-water mix with them. It's kind of where I would place them. I'm basing a lot of this on their first album, which I absolutely love. I don't really know a whole lot of their other stuff. So that first album to me is very strong of Pisces energy. So I'm going to say Violent Femmes based on their first album, which is a great album, but I really didn't listen to a lot after that from them. I'm going to put them in Pisces. But hey, anyone want to make any other other than just throwing out bands? If anybody wants to put their own version of where they place stuff, I will share them in the chat as well. Because again, in case you guys don't know, Sarah could not make it tonight. I don't do the astrological aspects ahead of time, but I thought we'd go ahead and do the show, especially since I'm back in my office here. And so instead, I will do different. Whenever I fill these things in, I will do random topics and try to place them into signs. And so that's where we're at right now. So we are putting bands that represent astrological signs. So I'm still going to throw it out here. All 12 signs still up. If anybody wants to give an example of who they think is a great representation, I'll go ahead and say Queen is Libra. Just kind of mentally going through different genres and different bands to try to see where stuff would go. I got one for you guys. I'm going to turn around and ask you guys this because I'm really curious on this one. Where would you place Black Sabbath? If anyone wants to do a vote on that one, let me know. In that same vein, AC/DC I would put into Sagittarius. You know, Aerosmith just announced a farewell concert. I put them in Sagittarius. I also found when I was listening to all these bands and doing this, certain signs attract, like some of the signs, it was really hard to find any bands that kind of fit them. Irish Rover or the High King Sea. Yeah, Rebel, you got me. Those are two that I do not know. Field guy says doesn't know enough to place the bands, just knows that he likes them. Yes, Carson, with the Ozzy version of Black Sabbath, where would you place them? Meanwhile, I'll think of some other examples of other bands and where to put them. I'll go on. I've never been a fan of this band, but I know they get very popular, particularly in some of the circles that follow shows like this. Fleetwood Mac would be one that I would put in Cancer. That's one of the harder signs that I think about it to find bands for is Cancer. Okay, Rebel listens to a lot of folk music. Yeah, I'm not a folk music person, so I'm probably not going to know your stuff. Sorry. All music is good. It just all fits. It depends on what what speaks to each person. So, any other ones that you guys want to throw out? I'm still curious on the Ozzy one. I'm thinking about that one myself. Just randomly thinking of random bands. 70s, 80s, 90s. Deep Purple? I was never a big Deep Purple person, but if I had to place Deep Purple, and again, not a huge fan, so I don't know a whole lot of their stuff, so this could be a miscommunication. Deep Purple, I get kind of an obscure vibe from them, so I'd go kind of off. But not rebellious. Struggling with this one a little bit. I'm gonna go. Ooh, I'm really having a hard time with that one. For the time being, I'm going to place them in Sag as well, but I might move that. I don't want to take too much time thinking about that because you guys will be bored just watching me sitting here try to think. Eminem. I'm going to go with the out of the box. I also think he's like crazy smart. And the fact that he was kind of innovative and out of the box just by virtue of his whole story and stuff. So I'm going to put him in Aquarius as well. Joe guy says smoke on the water tells you all you got to know about Deep Purple. Yeah, I'm just having a hard time. Where would I place them? Yeah, let me think about that one some more. Any other ones? If not, I'll try to think of. Trying to think of a good one that Frank Zappa. See, I feel like this is gonna be very common. I actually really like Frank Zappa. I'd put Zappa in Aquarius as well. Again, that kind of intellectual and kind of pushing the boundaries, innovative type stuff. And he was actually really rebellious too. I mean, all the way up almost till he died, he was pushing against the status quo and things on that. So I feel like he was. I'm curious if anyone knows. I mean, I can look it up, but I'm curious what sign he was. I would not be surprised if he was Aquarius. Gotta be some rebellious type sign, some kind of rebel energy in there. But yeah, I like a lot of Frank Zappa stuff. Who else? Trying to think of bands that whoever's listening or watching right now would like. So that's the other thing too. I just don't want to throw random bands out there. Rebel doesn't like because of his ex. Now, he's got some stuff. I don't like the raunchy stuff, but yeah, there's other things from him that I like a lot. So got a lot. Funny. None of the dogs can get to me, and they're all freaking out. They're all like crying at the door. He was born December 21st, so he is a Sag Cap cusp. I can kind of see the Cap. I'm a fellow Cap. I can kind of see the Cap thing as well, but I would have pegged him more rebellious than that. Carson says that first song he learned on drums was "Smoke on the Water." Cool. Wish I could play anything. I can't, so you won't be getting that. In addition to me not being able to sing, I like music. Can't do anything musical. Alrighty. Let's see. What other bands? Why am I drawing blanks on bands now? I think I need to scan a playlist here for some of my ideas. So just bear with me here. Nobody throws stuff out here. Oh, first thing that came out here was Zappa. Interesting. Still curious on that Black Sabbath one as I see some Ozzy stuff coming up here. Ooh, Alice in Chains. They're a band I really like. Give me 1 second. I can't even find my mute. Give me a second here. Okay. Got it all handled. Alice in Chains, just because of the... See, I get beat up on, again, all the water signs. Can't take anything that remotely they could view as critical. They get mad at me. Alice in Chains, again, is either a Scorpio or a Pisces. I could go either way on that. But the dark introspection part of it, I want to say that, and Pisces kind of has a dual nature to it. So I was originally going to go to Scorpio, but the more I think about it, I'm going to go, particularly I know Sarah always thinks of like addiction with like Pisces and stuff. I will say that how introspective and dark a lot of their stuff was, I'm going to go with Pisces, but the dark side of it. No, Rebel, I'm not saying water signs can't take criticism. I'm saying that I feel I am nicer to water signs than in general than some of the other elements. Yet the water signs are the ones that generally accuse me of hating on them and being mean. And so I feel it's the nature of water. And my birth chart has no water in it at all. I think that's why I like water and water signs, but I'm not a very emotional person. So, yeah. I feel personally I'm hardest on the fire signs, but I've never had a fire sign. And this isn't an invitation for somebody to just do it just for the sake of doing it. I've never had a fire sign give me crap for being negative on the fire signs. And I feel the way I describe the signs, for me personally, I feel my description of Aries and Sag is the least complimentary out of all the signs, yet it tends to be, I always say like Cancer is my favorite, one of my favorite, if not my favorite sign. So I don't get grief from the Cancers. It's the Scorpios and Pisces that give me crap. So, hey, Steph, happy you're on. All right. So, unless anybody throws out another example, I'm just going to kind of scroll through here and see if there's another band that hits me. And it didn't do this normally, but I guess it sorted my stuff by artist. So still want suggestions on the Black Sabbath one. Queen already said Libra. Dogs making lots of noise. Okay, this is an interesting one. I'm just going to throw it out to get people's thoughts. What do you think about Kiss? Oh, Steph, we're not doing it. It's just me tonight, and I don't do the aspects ahead of time, so no weekly aspects tonight. It's me, and we're doing music. Talking Heads. Talking Heads, I think, is Virgo, because it's kind of that same, I would say, kind of innovative energy, but it's a little more analytical and a little more, this isn't a knock on other signs, but kind of thinking man's music or thinking person's alternative. And I kind of put that kind of in a Virgo space as opposed to a little more intellectual than some of the stuff out there. So, all right. Some of these bands that I'm going through, if you're wondering why it's taking me a while, some of these, much like Rebel out there, I don't think might be real commonly known that people would have an opinion on. So, trying to wait to find one that's commonly known. We already covered, I think, Aries. Rage Against the Machine is Aries. How about, we'll go an old one here. How about Jimi Hendrix? What did people think Jimi Hendrix would be? I struggle with that one. I'm kind of going between a couple signs on that one too. See where I'd put him. I'll see what people think. I'm going to keep going here. All right, another one. Jane's Addiction. Oh, Kiss. We got to vote for Taurus for Kiss. Gemini for Hendrix. Okay. Yeah, where would I put Kiss? I'm thinking Steph is getting better. I'm I'm walking. I got up and walked a little bit earlier to hand my wife keys. We got a vote for Scorpio for Kiss. I actually, well, this may be counterintuitive because they, hid their faces for so long. It was so over the top and so attention seeking. I'm leaning Leo for Kiss. That would just my opinion. Jane's Addiction. Man. Indulgent, but man, did they have a lot of problems too. Kind of goes into that whole same Alice in Chains type thing, but they were also a little less dark, even though they had the problems. So, man, they're kind of a mix. I get a little bit of a Taurus, a little bit of a Sag, and a little bit of a Pisces vibe on them. I don't think they're aggressive enough to put them in Aries. But I feel there's like a Again, we're going to get hate from people for this. I'm going to put Jane's Addiction in Scorpio. Nirvana. Oh. Nirvana. I would put Nirvana. Again, they were innovative, but they were very destructive. They burned out. They were kind of like a little like comet, like flashing and then burning away. But I feel like there was more depth there, no offense, than to put them in Aries. But I kind of get them. I kind of put them too in this kind of Pisces Aries mix. There's a little bit of air there too, though, with his like snarkiness. Because of the innovativeness, I'm torn. I'm split between like three here. I'm gonna put them in. As I told you, there's certain signs. It might just be the way that I'm wired. There's certain signs that'll get more. So you hear me like mention a lot of these. I'm gonna put Nirvana in Aquarius as well. But I'm torn here. I get Steph says Pisces. I could see Pisces. I'm kind of torn there. See, Steph, when Gemini, and this is no offense, Gemini, I think of, and we haven't gotten any, and it's not really my type of music, so you won't hear why. I feel Gemini is like the ultimate for like pop bands. So I think like, your top 40-ish type bands and stuff. That's what I think of with Gemini. Scorpio with Kiss, hidden, always getting into things, looking for gossip, controversy. Yeah, see, I'm kind of torn on that. They were really kind of over the top, though, which I kind of associate either with like a Sag or a Leo. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Steph, with the thinking with the music, if you're still talking about Nirvana, that's why I put them in an air sign. I'm going to put them with Aquarius. Leo as boy bands. I could definitely, there's a lot of boy bands that would be in Leo. A lot of boy bands that I think I put in Gemini, too. Hi, Mary Beth. Well, here's what I'm just kind of curious. Another kind of big band, but kind of older. Where would you put U2? I'm also thinking about this, and I almost think you can make a difference between old versus new. So when they first came out, they were very like political and politically active, and it's not that they're not now, but I feel like the music shifted more pop friendly as they got older, even though maybe they got less popular. Mary Beth, the foot is doing well. It's not fully healed yet, but I'm mobile. Hence, I'm here. I wasn't going to navigate. Not that I couldn't get in here. I just wasn't going to navigate when I couldn't walk for a whole bunch of reasons. All right. So where would I put U2? This is going to be a weird, maybe a weird placement, but since I feel like they give a fairly constant commentary about the world, and you could spin it as what everybody else should be doing, I view that as a Virgo energy. So I'm going to put you two in Virgo. Capricorn, I guess, I struggle with what would be a Capricorn band, to be honest. Maybe it's because I am Capricorn. But I could definitely see you two in the Capricorn space too. I view, yeah, I'll change my mind, Steph. I'll go along with that. Because I feel like to be in the Capricorn side, there's got to be talent, but there's also, I view Cap energy isn't going to do art for art's sake. They're going to do it to be well known and make money, but not do it in a way like Kiss or like a Sag or a Leo would, where it's attention for attention's sake. They're going to be, they're going to want to be viewed very seriously and still want to cash in. So yeah, I think you're right, Steph. I'd go Capricorn with you too. It's funny because this band just popped up. They're kind of curious of what's going to happen. Sorry, getting on here. Sorry, I had to reply on that. Having a minor issue going on here. All right, back to my site. Sorry, guys. All right, what would you say with Field Guide must be funny. Trying to be funny here with White Snake. Not a White Snake fan. In general, not a hairband fan, even though I did kind of come of age in the 80s, though there's some I do like. I'd put White Snake as, again, I know Steph and I view this differently. That's a Leo band. David Coverdale, like the hair alone puts them in Leo for me. And then it was, I hate how I describe some of these because I don't want to feel like I'm insulting people of that sign, but I feel like that their energy, it was all flash and no substance. And I kind of throw that in the Leo space. So, yeah, Steph, see the Sag I see more as like the party bands, and Scorpio I see as like the dark. Right? I think originally we had like 9 Inch Nails in there. Who's your bad boy hop in the car troublemaker sign? Again, depends on the type of energy. I'd say generally the fire energies are the I would put as, so-and-so bad boy. Yes, I'm sorry. There's actually a car issue here with my wife that went to get my son. So I'm actually dealing with that issue here while we're talking. So I apologize. Yeah, see. Poison's Leo, yeah. But see here, Steph, here's where I hate to, I know I'm going to cross myself with that. And again, I'm not a hairband guy. So I just know based on the other comments in here that I'm going to get a little bit of crap out here. I took, this is not a very high scale on either of them. So I feel funny even saying this, but I take Poison more seriously than I take White Snake. So, yeah, but I throw them both in Leo. All right, let's keep going. Your Rhythmics. Eurythmics, I go Scorpio. Mary Beth, I did talk about AC/DC earlier. I think AC/DC is a Sag band. I feel Sag is like wild in a party sense. Aries is wild in a destructive sense. And Leo is kind of like the wild one, but we're going to put iced tea in the Jack Daniels bottle and pretend we're as wild as the Aries and Sag, but we don't have the same game they do. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, field guy. I'm not necessarily like a huge Eurythmics fan, but even I know there was like stuff they did later where she was like, I remember the one video where she was like the crazy housewife with like the split personality. And then even like the sweet, I feel them as like a dark kind of psychological band, and I just feel more Scorpio vibes from them. Okay, Steph is very much defending David Coverdale and saying he's very Virgo. Okay, I will go along with that. And Steph, I do know he had a much longer career prior to Whitesnake. But again, I was not just going back to it, and I guess depends where some people's ages are. They'll go, when I was young, I was kind of into the prog-ish bands. And then high school, it was kind of when the metal stuff was really popular, the hair bands, it was still kind of the prog-ish with like the new wave punk overtones. And then the older I got, the more kind of punkish I got. And then obviously when grunge broke, I was all into those were like my favorite bands. So just get a little history of kind of where my head was on stuff. Never really listened to anything remotely hip-hop-ish. Not that I didn't like it. I think we were talking about this last time we were doing the show when Sarah was on. I just felt it was not necessarily relatable to me. So I appreciate the talent on it, but it didn't necessarily resonate. Yes, Dio, where would I put Dio? Maybe unfairly. I don't want to be triggering Steph here. I did like Dio more than Coverdale. Where would I put Dio? Yeah, I feel like he was like the thinking man, trying almost like that Virgo energy, but trying to put the dark metalish like image to it, even though like I don't know where I'd put him. I'm gonna pass on that. Yeah, D. Snyder again. That was he's a pretty interesting guy to listen to and stuff on his things. Yeah, oh man, where would I put? Even though I wouldn't necessarily put them in like party band space. Twisted Sister was so over the top, but I don't view them in a Leo, like glamorous over the top. I think I put Twisted Sister in Sag. Again, I think even though we haven't had a lot of these, I think Aries is a big bucket for music. I think Gemini is a big bucket for music. I guess, I think it's going to be a lot of the air and Leo, Scorpio, Sag, Aquarius, and then some in the kind of Virgo and Pisces, but I think there's some of the more, maybe not as mainstream, but some of the darker stuff. You think Aries? See, Steph, I think Aries, I'll just right off. I think like Rage Against the Machine. I guess you could kind of do that. See, I think Twisted Sister was too tongue in cheek to be Aries. I think Aries is like tear crap down and burn it down type stuff. So there'd be a lot of bands that I probably, would struggle to know the names on, but I think a lot of like your like thrash stuff and like hyper aggressive music and things I'd put into that. Garth Brooks. I'm going to have to see what you guys think. Not a country fan. So this is going to be based on limited information, but just gut feel. I would put Garth Brooks. See, I hesitate to even say this because I feel like people could like yell at me if it's totally wrong. I put Garth Brooks in Cap, and that might just be because of all his achievement things in there. Elvis. It's because you guys are solo artists. At least I'm thinking like the late Elvis with all the flashy things and stuff. I'm kind of thinking Leo. Johnny Cash had some dark, definitely had some darkness with him. Steph says Libra for Garth. Elvis Cancer, really? Okay, I'm curious about that one. If you can elaborate. The only one I had for Cancer was Fleetwood Mac. I feel like Cancer, I think of like emotional depth, but not dark emotional depth. So Johnny Cash, I'm going to go Cancer. I feel there was some definite dark stuff, and that kind of dark side things. I kind of vacillate between Scorpio and Pisces on those. So I gotta go. Last time you rated Disturbed, and I forgot. I don't know a whole lot of Disturbed stuff, so I feel like I'm probably gonna mischaracterize them as well. What little I know. I'm going to pass and say I don't know them well enough to. I'm probably going to be off on that. Oh, Prince. Oh, man. That's a good one. So the candidates for me for Prince would be, there's an innovative side. So I see Aquarius stuff there. There's some pretty funky. There's some pretty funky Scorpio energy with him as well. And then I see some. Man, I could go 4 here. I see Libra. I'll go with about those 3. So where do I want to go out of Libra, Aquarius, and Scorpio for Prince? I feel Libra, since they kind of are diplomats and go with the flow, and that's not really him, I'm going to shy away from Libra from that for Prince. I could say you could go for any one of those 3, but again, I'm thinking of kind of the down and dirty stuff with him, and so I'm going Scorpio. I have a friend that's a really big Prince fan, and like knew him to some degree. I'll have to reach out to them and see what they would pick him as. Libra likes Paul. Yeah, I would not argue between any one of those 3. I'm really torn between those 3, which again kind of highlights. And for some of these, particularly when it's bands, you have multiple personalities, multiple things in there that could manifest in different ways. That's why I wanted to do this, because I felt it would be an interesting debate and discussion, and not everybody would just kind of go along with stuff. So that's why I'm interested. I'm still interested in the. Oh, maybe I missed it in here. The Cancer for Elvis. Okay, so that's an interesting one, Steph. So I guess I want to add is, I guess a difference between the personality of the person versus the vibe of the artist. And I think those are 2 different things. So I just want to be clear. If you take the artist, whether it's the solo artist as an artist or the band, and what kind of vibe sign-wise they give off, what would it be? I hope that makes sense. Field guy, I'm going to sound really embarrassing here. I don't know Uncle Ted. Unless you're talking about Nugent. Is that what you mean? I'd put him in a yeah. Elvis was definitely very innovative. But I don't put him in. It's funny. I guess at the time with all the controversy, you could put in an Aquarius. You could put him in the Aquarius bucket because I guess it was rebellious. It just doesn't look that way in hindsight, looking back. I wouldn't argue that. Dolly Parton. I see, again, I'm not a big country person, so just, this is limited Matt's impression. I would put Dolly Parton in the Cancer category. Get caught up here. Zeppelin. Man. I got on Zeppelin, but I feel like I've put myself in a bad spot here because I think prior placements might mean I'm saying they're superficial. I get a Leo Cap vibe from Zeppelin. Probably the Leo from Plant, because I feel like his at least stage persona and everything was very Leo-ish, but that's not necessarily the rest of the band. That's where it gets kind of mixed. The rest of it, I get kind of a Cap vibe from, to be honest. Rebel says Leo or Gemini for Elvis. Okay. I put him in Leo. It was mine. We also had, for some folks that may have joined later, we also had Pink Floyd up earlier, and I threw them in Pisces. So. Rebel, that's where I was at with the Leo thing. I just felt the overall showman piece of it for Elvis. That's why I put him there. Because again, all these signs are multifaceted. There could be different reasons why you would put somebody in one of these signs, and they can be a little different. That's why I'll find the list. I probably have it in here. I just this was kind of spontaneous doing it this way, so eventually I'll break out my list of the top 10 I had for them all. So I think I did. I think I have it buried in my desk. I just didn't have time to dig it out. And you see even with the top 10s and the different signs. But it was funny because some I had 30 and I had to cut them down. And then some of these other signs, I struggled to find 10 bands that would match it. So, and then we're doing the same thing with songs. So that was interesting too. That'll be another show though. We'll do the songs. All right. Well, we're getting close on time here. So I'll throw out any last minute bands you want to kick out there for comments on. So still getting messages about the issue that I won't get into on live. Oh, just because I saw the A, and I know there doesn't seem to be a lot of proggy people on here, so they probably, yes, I'd put in Cap. Yes was a Capricorn band, in my opinion. Chris Stapleton. Don't know enough to make a rating. That's why I was waiting to see what you guys would throw out here, because if I did a list of the bands I like. Oh, Pink. Whoa. Don't know a ton. I get, but please, people that know her music better than I. Oh, she already threw in and said Sag. Okay, so I guess I could be off on there because I was leaning between. I kind of got Gemini, Cancer, Aquarius vibes, but I don't know a lot of her stuff in depth, so it's based on a limited sampling of stuff. And then maybe I'm reading in a little bit about some of the other things I know about her that have come out that have kind of put me in those spots. So Aerosmith, I put as definite Sag. I think they're a Sag band. ELO, Virgo. Yeah, I think ELO is a Virgo band. I feel them as kind of technical, and again, kind of like on that thinking man's. In this case, it would be yeah. I also throw, I don't know if anybody, I'm not necessarily a fan, but I know I have friends that are big fans of them. I think King Crimson would fit a Virgo band as well. All right. Yeah, Chris Stapleton, I know that name. I don't know enough songs to comment. Now we have, I hope it's not one of my dogs. Give me 1 second. I'm going to mute here too. Nothing, McKenna. We have, I'm hearing a dog out front, but it's not ours. I always worry because we have coyotes around. We don't have a lot of them, but we have coyotes around. All right, Lady Gaga. Aquarius. I go pretty firm in the Aquarius bucket for her. All right. Time winding down. Any last ones you guys want to throw? I'm trying to think if there's any bands that I wanted to hit. Now my dogs are going nuts in the background. I apologize. Yeah, I think it's where no. This is kind of a yippy dog. I just want to make sure I wasn't in trouble. Oh my God, Steph, you're going way back. Jerry Lee Lewis. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that one too. I don't think I know enough song wise. I feel like my placement would be more impressions on the stories and things you hear about him, and not necessarily the music piece. So happy to see your suggestion as to where you would place him. Yeah, that's why I was going with just the little things I know. I was thinking kind of Leo, but I was thinking kind of the crazy show stuff to go that way. John Denver. Again, don't know a ton of John Denver stuff, but it's interesting. You guys are making good suggestions out of it. So he's another one I kind of throw in the Cancer bucket. It might just be based on the songs I know by him and not his overall catalog, but I get a Cancer vibe from his stuff. Little Richard, Leo. Yeah, I would go strong with maybe a little on the Libra, but yeah, I'd go Leo there for Little Richard. I think we did this before. If we had to do, so I'll just go ahead. I hate putting myself on the spot here. If I had to place, I just saw Phil. I'll do Phil Collins then. If I had to place the 4 Beatles, I'd put Paul as Gemini. John is Aquarius, but I almost feel like there's a darker piece to John than just Aquarius would be. But I'll put John in Aquarius. George a Cap. I'm just gonna like George the best, and Ringo as Sag. Queen. Yeah, we had talked about Queen earlier, so I'll go ahead. But I put Queen as a Libra band. Although I think the individual components of Queen, the individual artists, you could place in different spots, but I would say the band as a whole, very kind of Queenish vibe or Libra vibe to me. Phil Collins. I'll put him as Gemini. I think he kind of embodies that popish piece that I kind of throw into that whole Gemini vibe. That's just me. Any other last minute ones before I sign off? Again, when Sarah can't make it, this is what I will do as filler. It will be either, well, not filler, but just because we won't do the weekly things, it'll be different things. We'll do movies, we'll do bands, we'll do, whatever best represents the signs for different things. So, interesting. So I think Steph, I don't know if that was Phil Collins that she's thinking is a Taurus. That's stable and indulgent. Yeah, I struggle with finding Taurus bands. I think early on, if folks are in there, I kind of went into that kind of jam band-ish type banner for the Taurus one. So hope you enjoyed it. The dogs are going nuts in the background. Also, Sunday Night Dead will return this Sunday. Not saying what it is yet because I'm not 100% sure on my topic, but we will be back Sunday night after about a 3-month hiatus. So have a great week, everybody. Hopefully see you all Sunday. Take care.